Every backyard has a story. We help you uncover it. Imagine waking up tomorrow morning. You hear that soft, sad coo, coo, coo outside your window. You look out, and there it is, a little gray bird sitting quietly on your fence. Most people call it a mourning dove, but here's the first surprise. It's actually called the mourning dove, and that peaceful little bird is hiding some truly strange secrets. It can feed its babies with something called bird milk. It can survive by drinking water that would be dangerously salty for us. One mourning dove was found to have stored 17,200 seeds inside its body, and one banded dove lived for more than 30 years. So why does this ordinary-looking backyard bird have such extraordinary abilities? Today, we're going to uncover 5 secrets behind the mourning dove. First, why its sad song is not really a cry. Second, the bizarre food it makes for its babies. Third, the survival tricks that make this bird so successful. Fourth, the shocking truth about how it survives in a dangerous world. And finally, the one thing about mourning doves that might make you look at your backyard completely differently. And stay until the end, because I'll also give you a simple backyard tip that can make your yard safer for these birds.
That sad sound is not what you think. That haunting coo is one of the easiest bird sounds to recognize in America. It sounds almost like a bird is mourning. That is where the name comes from. But the dove isn't sitting there crying. The main perch song is usually given by males, especially unmated males trying to attract a mate. And there's another sound you may have heard without realizing it. When a mourning dove suddenly takes off, whoosh, its wings can make a sharp whistling sound. Scientists think this sound may help startle predators or warn other doves. So the bird that sounds sad may actually be sending messages, and that's only the beginning.
The babies drink milk. Here's where mourning doves get really strange. Baby doves don't start life by eating seeds. For their first few days, both parents can produce something called crop milk. It comes from the lining of the crop, and the parents feed it directly to their babies. It is rich in fat and protein and helps the tiny chicks grow quickly. Think about that. A bird that spends its adult life eating seeds makes milk for its babies, and both mom and dad can produce it. Then the parents slowly add regurgitated seeds as the babies grow. Nature has basically given the mourning dove its own baby food factory. But here's the really clever part. The parents don't put everything into one nest and hope for the best. They keep trying, and trying, and trying.
The bad nest that actually works. Have you ever seen a mourning dove nest? It can look almost ridiculous. A few twigs, a few pieces of grass, that's it. Sometimes you can practically see the eggs through the bottom. Yet these birds can raise several broods in one year. In warm areas, a pair may produce as many as 6 broods. And here's something even stranger. Males bring nesting material to females. The female then arranges it into the nest. Mourning doves may even reuse old nests, including nests made by other birds. It looks careless, but it's actually a survival strategy. Instead of spending huge amounts of energy building a perfect home, they invest in trying again. And that brings us to the part that explains why they are so successful.
This bird is a survival machine. Mourning doves are seed specialists. They can eat roughly 12 to 20% of their body weight in a day. And they don't necessarily digest every seed immediately. They can store food inside an enlarged part of their esophagus called the crop. One extraordinary record involved 17,200 bluegrass seeds stored in a single crop. That's like leaving the grocery store and stuffing your entire shopping cart into your backpack. But the most surprising trick may be even stranger. Mourning doves can drink brackish water that is almost half as salty as seawater without becoming dehydrated the way humans would. That ability helps explain how they can survive in dry landscapes where fresh water isn't always easy to find. And there is one more incredible fact. A mourning dove doesn't have to be young to be successful. One banded male lived at least 30 years and 4 months. So that ordinary dove on your fence could belong to a species capable of living for decades.
But there's a darker side. And this is where the story changes.
Mourning doves are incredibly common, but common does not mean invincible. Cornell's summary of breeding bird survey data estimates that mourning doves declined about 0.4% per year from 1966 to 2019, adding up to roughly a 20% decline. They are still abundant. The U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service continues to monitor their populations using breeding surveys, banding, harvest data, and other measurements. Researchers have also found that local conditions matter. One study in North Dakota found long-term declines in some heavily farmed regions and examined how weather and landscape changes may affect populations. So the lesson isn't mourning doves are disappearing. It's more interesting than that. They are remarkably successful birds, while still facing a changing world.
The biggest surprise. And maybe that's exactly why mourning doves are special. They don't look powerful. They don't have the intelligence reputation of a crow. They don't have the size of a hawk. They don't have the bright colors of a cardinal. They simply show up. On your fence, under your feeder, on the telephone wire, quietly living their lives. But underneath that ordinary appearance is a bird that can make food for its babies, store thousands of seeds, tolerate surprisingly salty water, raise brood after brood, and, in rare cases, live for more than 3 decades. So the next time you hear that familiar coo, 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 don't think you're hearing a sad bird. You're hearing one of America's most adaptable backyard survivors. And here's your bonus backyard tip. Mourning doves spend a lot of time feeding on the ground. So if you want to help them, keep cats indoors and provide safe areas with open ground and nearby cover. Cornell specifically warns that ground-feeding birds are especially vulnerable to prowling cats. And if you've ever had a mourning dove do something strange in your backyard, tell us about it in the comments. Your story might become the mystery in a future Backyard Mysteries video. And share this video with someone who thinks mourning doves are just ordinary birds, because now you know they're anything but ordinary. And if you want to know which seemingly harmless backyard birds can actually cause problems when you feed them, watch our next video, 5 backyard birds you should never feed. Big mistake. Until next time, keep looking closer, because the greatest mysteries are often hiding in the places we walk past every day.